Ladies and gentlemen, our first session in the hall, Making Sophisticated Marketing Simple.
My name is Neej Gore, and I'm Zeta's Chief Data Officer. And we have a very illustrious panel of presenters and content to show you today. But before we look forward in what we're going to do in 2024 and beyond, we first have to start by looking back. So let's rewind to 2013, 10 years ago. So what was happening that year? Beyonce and Destiny's Child had reunited at the Super Bowl. The Doge meme was going entirely viral, if you guys remember that. Apple, and you guys just saw John Scully on the main stage, had just invented the thumbprint to authenticate users on phones. And the word of the year was selfie. There was something else happening that year, too. Consumers were generating 9 trillion gigabytes of data. That's 9 zettabytes of data every single year. And marketers were asking the question, can we use data to predict what consumers will do next? It was an age-old question. This was 5 times greater than just 2 years prior. Fast forwarding now 10 years, with 120 trillion gigabytes of data being generated annually, marketers are still at a loss. Marketers believe that data would solve all their problems, but the reality is in many cases, data has only let them down. So why is that? And how have we gotten here? And the reason is that data has never been the destination. It's always been the starting line, and it's been the fuel. So this dichotomy has existed, and it's our job at Zeta to help show how we're going to solve through it. The conversation around data has moved to intelligence, and it's having its moment today. The idea of visualizing and exploring and acting on data has never been more important, and the cultural shifts we've seen over the last few years have never been more prevalent. And this creates a magic moment for intelligence, now and moving forward. And it's not just in the ecosystem. The marketer mindset has changed. Marketers are starting to focus on intelligence over data in every single conversation they have. And these are just some of the questions marketers ask, and we hear them every day. What is the impact of weather on my business, and can I predict future changes? What lifecycle analytics are important for the prediction of consumers and prospects in my funnel? So these are the types of things we want to solve through intelligence. And the beauty is that we already know the endpoint. We've seen it in pop culture. Everyone remembers this scene from Minority Report where Tom Cruise is walking through the mall and he's getting personalized marketing from a number of brands. Now, whether you think this is scary or not, this is coming. Other movies in pop culture have demonstrated similar things to us. In Back to the Future, we had personalized billboards. In Her, we had the AI-powered assistant, if you want to call her that. In Blade Runner, we had brand holographic ambassadors. And in Ready Player One, we had virtual shopping. So these are all coming, whether we like them or not. These are amazing personalized experiences, but they must be powered by the concept of intelligence. And in Zeta's world, we think about intelligence in 2 very critical ways. First and foremost, there's what a lot of the players in the market are doing. They're focusing on improving intelligence from within the enterprise. And we're doing a great job of that. And we're going to highlight that today as well. But there's something that we do that no other vendor in the market does. We help our customers with intelligence natively from outside of their 4 walls. This is around the market. This is around customers. This is around prospects. And this is around competitors. It all comes to life in one single pane that's available to marketers within the Zeta Marketing Platform. So this is a disruptive model, and it's why we're winning a lot of business today. And this piece on the right will also be highlighted today in just a few minutes. To remind everyone, on top of making the intelligence from within your enterprise incredible, we have an enormous data asset that you can tap into. We see over 235 million Americans every month operating on our data network, and they're generating trillions of signals that we can synthesize into intent. And intent is another way to say intelligence around competitors, market, prospects, and your market at large. So the combination of a massive proprietary data set, having AI in our DNA. Chris and I joined Zeta 6 years ago. I've been working with Chris for over 11 years. And we've been talking about AI in marketing since probably the beginning of time. So having that in our DNA and the way we think about the business has really revolutionized Zeta, and it's going to continue to change the way we operate. And the products you'll see presented today also have purpose-built design to incorporate all the new AI capabilities that are being provided by generative, along with existing capabilities that we've been building for years. And this leads us to this concept of premium intelligence delivered through the platform. Now, when you think of intelligence and you think of a person, sometimes we want to really show what this means. So here we have Denise with a specific Zeta ID number. We know some things about her. She's recently visited a home goods store. She has $125,000 in household income. She has 2 kids. She loves streaming content. She's a small business owner. So making that into something that's usable by a marketer in an easy and simple manner is what this is all about. And you want to make it usable across customers, prospects, competitors, and the market at large. This is what it comes down to, making that right side from your perspective very easy for a marketer to take advantage of. So I'm very happy to introduce Winnie Shen, who's going to walk you through a couple of the views on how we synthesize intelligence. Winnie, come on up.
Thanks so much, Neej. So we're going to do a quick demo for you guys. We're going to do it from the lens of XMobile. They're a telecommunications company, and I'm going to try to answer 3 quick questions for you. First of all, I'm going to tell you, how can Zeta help match and enrich my first-party data? Second of all, I'm going to answer the question about, what do you know about my brand versus my key competitors? And the third question I'm going to answer for you guys is, what can you tell me about my existing customers? So let's tackle that first question. How can Zeta match and enrich my first-party data? Well, at the core of our own proprietary identity graph is that individual. Tied to that individual are their different identifiers, like your personal email address, your business email, your mobile ad ID. These are all channels we can reach individuals across our omnichannel solutions, but they're also the connectors to the attributes and signals you see here. What do I look like demographically? What's my financial and household profile? What am I reading online? Who am I visiting? Who am I shopping with? What's the SKU level data that I'm actually putting into my basket? Those identifiers also enable us to match first-party data, including offline data, such as phone and name. Let's now tackle the second question. What can you tell me about my brand versus some of my key competitors? In our latest version of our competitor intelligence, we're looking at what my customers look like for growth and retention opportunities, and then also comparing it to what the prospect universe looks like. I see for my brand, my customers are very similar to my key competitors in terms of the values that they have. So what can I do? Let's focus on those values that are most differentiated for my customers versus some of my key competitors. And I'm going to activate directly off of that intelligence. You'll see here that I'm going to look at the cross-section of my existing customers, cross with those values that are most differentiated for me versus my key competitor. And you'll be able to see that I get my omni-channel accounts, I got the people-based counts, and as I load my first-party data into here, I can actually see on my own customers how many of those users overlap with that. And then the third key question I'm going to answer is around, what do my existing customers look like? So we've created something called generative personas, where we've used machine learning clustering technology to create mutually exclusive groups of customers. With that, we're using generative AI to help with the imagery, the naming, the description, and also pulling forward intelligence around these personas. You'll see that family-focused Faith is going to be very different from Streaming Steve, from Deal-Driven Danny, from Bundling Bailey. And what we can do with that information is customize our marketing strategy. When I look at the content people are consuming online, I see that family-focused Faith, she's actually in market for a new internet service, perhaps for my fiber business, and I see she has some family members that are gamers. Whereas when I look at Streaming Steve, I actually see that he's more in market for a new cellular device, looking at Android apps, looking at LG. So a great growth opportunity for us to actually send a new device. I can also look for churn signals. Around visitation, I can see, do I see the loud signal of my customer visiting my key competitor? Deal-driven Jenny looks a little bit close to over-indexing and visiting my key competitor, so I want to make sure that I retain Danny. And finally, let's look at what can we actually send. What's the messaging that will really resonate with my customers? I see for family-focused Faith, she cares a lot about being successful, independent, reliability, and up-to-date. Now that type of messaging is then going to help me really engage with Faith, and then as I introduce my service around high-speed fiber internet, key for her. These are just a few pieces of intelligence that we have that we're bringing to scale for our customers, But that's not where we started, Neej, is it?
Not where we started. So our journey around intelligence started in 2018, where we decided to take an award-winning and leading marketing technology platform and combine it with an unheralded data cloud. And today, we've done a lot of work. We've introduced the Opportunity Explorer. We've introduced all kinds of intelligence around customers, prospects, competitors in the market. But what's coming next and where we're going in 24 is to take this concept around agile intelligence, making marketing easy to visualize, explore, and act on, and combining it with the notion of generative AI. This is going to unlock so much power for marketers that we're excited for. And with the 120 trillion gigabytes, the 120 zettabytes of data that are being created every year, data is still only the starting line. Intelligence is the journey, but the journey is incomplete if we can't deliver results for you, our customers. And the journey is incomplete without action. And with that, I am so excited to introduce my good friend, colleague, and partner, Chris Monberg.
Thank you, buddy. Hello, everybody. Thank you, Neej. Thank you, Winnie. It's a privilege to be able to share the stage with everybody. So Neej talked about the starting point, and I want to briefly talk about what's happening in the market or what we see in the market. So data seems like a destination to a lot of companies, and there's amazing brands out there, companies like Snowflake, Databricks, that help you get all of your data in one place, but you've got to get outcomes out of that data. And there's a trough of disillusionment. There's a challenge where they get all their data in one place and they say, what next? And they're unsure how to get from data in one place to actionable intelligence everywhere. And that's what we want to help solve for our customers. And this maturity curve is something we come back to as an organization over and over again. Somebody will come in and say, hey, I want data, or I want to send a bunch of emails, or I want to do a bunch of media. How do they get to the point where new ideas are fostering growth for their brand and generating business outcomes? In order to get there, they need a strategy. And I'd posit they need more than just a data strategy. They need a strategy that is thinking about data, technology, and AI in one fell swoop. And this is the next generation of conversations that we're having with the brands out there. The way we solved that was through a core ethos in the way we build our product. So here what you're seeing are the 3 layers of really our stack. It's how we organize our technology and even our teams that work on the technology. It starts with data and identity. Data and identity give rise to intelligence, and that intelligence drives outcomes and experiences for our marketing brand users. So inside of those 3 layers of the stack, we've got a variety of modules. We've got 9 core modules and dozens of submodules that we can turn on and off. Maybe a customer needs really rich or robust identity management. We turn that on for them. The toggle goes from white to green in the platform. And our customers come with their platform as well. They come with their stack and their investments, and we want to help them get more out of it. If they've purchased Snowflake, we want to help the marketers get more value out of Snowflake. If they've got other vendors they like, we want to wrap around their business and their technology. Why do we do this? We do it because marketing is harder than it should be, and we want to simplify all of those complexities. We want to let marketers be sophisticated and really creative. We want to let their empathy, their creativity, and their mastery over the metrics come to the surface. So as I think about where the platform's going, I want to talk about data and identity. It's really hard to stitch all of your sources together and stitch it to the right individual. This requires an identity graph, it requires tools that normalize data, and it requires integration strategy that's just one click away. Meanwhile, it has to be privacy, secure, and compliant by nature. And that's what we're building in a data mesh. Second, with intelligence has to be actionable. Intelligence can't be hidden in spreadsheets. If you're looking for people and where they live and trying to forecast what they're doing, that should really be something that's presented to the marketer, not something they go digging for. If the data exists, the intelligence should be one step away. And last, with experiences. Marketers spend all their time trying to understand an individual, and then they apply that to big cohorts. And the tools are really, they're not refined enough. So we want to build creative tools that generate content for an individual at a click of a button. We want to make testing easier, and we want to get organizations away from a channel strategy. Why would I be represented inside a brand by a marketing department that's siloed into email and media and text and push notifications and website, 5 different teams that have 5 different views of me? I'm a human being and I deserve to be treated as one, despite how organizations want to organize their business units. So I can't get on stage today without talking about generative AI. It's a hot topic, and I think this Arthur C. Clarke quote captures what's happening with generative AI really, really beautifully. I'm going to start with a story. So everybody knows the story of Icarus. Flew too close to the sun, his dad gave him the wax wings, they melt, and he falls. A lot of people are equating generative AI to the sun in this story, and our ego, our sense of pride is driving us towards the sun, and we're going to fall from the heavens if we chase generative AI too aggressively. And I don't think that's fair, because generative AI is just like the sun in that it creates beauty, and it creates growth, and it creates undergrowth and overgrowth. It lets the seedlings rise to the skies, and with every inch forward towards the sun, it becomes more impactful. Every step we take towards generative AI is going to open up new doors. And there's titans of industry like Google and Zeta, and there's also little startups in industry. And I really believe the steps we take forward are going to solve the world's biggest problems, and including marketing, hunger, healthcare, equality issues. I think technology is going to do that. So as a technologist, I'm running towards the sun, and I think marketers can too, through the lens of generative AI. Artificial intelligence is very powerful, and for a lot, it feels a little bit hard to reach, but it's now becoming about enabling human intelligence, and maybe better than intelligence, creativity. It's letting our empathy flow into the way we interact with each other. And these tools, I believe, are very beautiful tools for us to use as a society and as marketers. We have to have guardrails. We can't slip off the side of the cliff, but humanity's pretty good at that. We've evolved to understand where the guardrails are, and we also have to understand that sometimes the sun can scorch the beautiful lilies growing in your yard, and we have to be ready to replant or water as needed. So this has created a cultural shift. It's also created a new paradigm in the way that we deliver, the way we create user interfaces. We have a Zeta intelligence engine, and it powers a variety of use cases. We think about generative intelligence as part of our overall intelligence suite, and those outcomes are critical for our customers. In order to build this, we had to understand that the generative AI tools out there, like OpenAI, another great company, wasn't necessarily mapping to the jobs that need to be done. And we've all experienced this. We've gone in to use OpenAI and we've typed out a memo or a letter or a report, and it's not quite right, and it's certainly not going to copy edit itself, and it's not going to publish itself. So we wanted to span that chasm between the jobs that need to be done and the action that needs to happen there with our intelligence engine. I'm going to get a little bit dorky just for a second to help you understand the way we think about building intelligence and on top of generative intelligence. So first, we had to give domain to these large language models. And that means the large language model has to not just be able to rewrite your piece as Thoreau would, but it needs to understand that you're a healthcare business and what your consumer looks like and how previous engagements have gone and your content and services. That's tricky, and we're finding, frankly, that some brands don't want to give their domain to generative intelligence. And it's not clear to us now, because it's a burgeoning industry, if they don't want to give it to third-party services like OpenAI, because they're worried it's going to get trained into their large language model, or if they are just, I guess, ethically against generative AI. So these are things we're learning as we're building the technology, and it's causing features to be pulled into our platform where we can toggle those things on and off. Second, provenance. Not good enough to aggregate data. You have to know where it came from, because we're in the business of actionable intelligence. You have to know the root, the anchor of where that data came from, so you can take action on it later. And third, we needed to create an action framework. It's nice that I can ask ChatGPT what a great sci-fi book is for me to read, but it's not going to add it to my Kindle library or my audio library and play it back at the speed I want it to and read it for me. So we think a lot about action. Domain, provenance, and action are three heady concepts, but I'll give you an example of how it works. So a marketer comes to us, talks to Zoe. Zoe is our Zeta Opportunity Engine, and it's an action agent. It helps understand what the marketer's looking for. One of the first steps was to go talk to the large language models that are coming from the industry, from Google, from Meta, from OpenAI, and others. We had to give them domain provenance and action frameworks. It turned out that wasn't a good enough answer for us. We had to build our own LLMs, sometimes smaller LLMs that did very bespoke jobs. This is deep technology. And it allows us to, in some ways, survive as the undergrowth in a forest as the big brands are taking on some of the biggest challenges. But it's nuanced and it's beautiful. And the outcomes that it's going to generate for the marketers using it are going to become simple. It's going to allow them to operate in an intelligence space that just hasn't existed in the market to date. So power of intelligence leads to more use cases. And next you're going to hear from a bunch of my coworkers about how we can take this intelligence and drive action out of it. So without further ado, I'm excited to introduce Yohei Okabe, VP of Product.
All right. So let's jump right in. So we're going to start with a couple questions. So what if customer data had more benefits with fewer obstacles? We really break this down in product and think about how we're building every feature, every connected piece of the platform. And the core of this question comes down to a problem of connectivity and identity. The ZMP actually breaks through kind of your traditional identity of just saying, hey, this email is this email. We break it all down, bring your first-party data together, allowing you to connect through second-party data through partners, and also bringing in your third-party data enrichment with our data cloud. And we provide this framework that really brings all this information together that seems disparate and creates one profile. We do this holistically at a high level with the data landscape, allowing you to see all your connected partners. But then also underlying these individual lines, we actually tie all the data together. And then you see these different lines moving into the Zeta Marketing Platform. We actually bring everybody, make sense of it, create identities. And then the outbound, it's all one person that we've identified, we've brought together. And then that's how you're able to address those people through the platform. Now, these questions are pretty fast, and we'll also be upstairs from like 1 to 5 if you want to find us later to talk. But the one takeaway I'm going to take out of these 3 takeaways is we want to give you full control of your data so that you can use AI safely, you can activate safely, address your customers safely, intelligently, and effectively. Second question really comes down to how CMOs and CIOs are not just currently interacting, but how they're going to interact. If you're not already working with your CIO and you're kind of a CMO, director of marketing in this room, that's going to happen. There's a lot coming down the line around new technology, new regulation, compliance, and it's quite complex in terms of how you want to break it all down. Your CIO is having trouble trying to figure out how they're going to manage, how they're going to bring it all together. And we're focused on that through data governance. We actually are bringing a whole framework because we know that every client, every brand treats and thinks about their data differently. And we're building these frameworks so that you can understand this data. Data 15 years ago was tall, 10 million records, 20 million, 100 million records. Now it's wide, 10,000 properties. You can't just ask somebody to say, hey, go figure out what these 10,000 things are and make sure they're used perfectly every time. We're going to build a framework, and we're building that framework and releasing some of that, and we'll talk about it upstairs, that'll allow you to take advantage of that. Another really cool component of all this is our data clean room. So we talked about, I mentioned second-party clean rooms a moment ago. This will allow you two parties, two Zeta partners, clients, however we want to look at it, to be actually interact with their data safely, bringing in attribution use cases, acquisition use cases, analytics use cases. And if the traditional clean room infrastructures, those are great, and we actually are using them. But the reality is if you're trying to build a clean room between 2 parties, that's like 9 months of effort, 10 engineers on each side, and we can actually do this through our platform and make it easy by building these frameworks that are specific to the use cases. And so when you're looking for us later, just know that we're not offering just tools, but we're actually building out all this framework so that you have the intelligence, so that you can use our platform to do everything you need moving forward. And then without further ado, I'm going to hand it off to Roman, my counterpart, VP of Product as well.
Thank you, sir. What's up, everybody? So I'm going to start with a really bold statement. Marketing well is hell. It's really hard to market well. And only the people who know how to really market can make it simple. And that's why we built Zoe. Zoe, the Zeta optimization engine, is a chat-based ecosystem that combines all our fine-tuned models to achieve the jobs that marketers need to achieve. You can ask Zoe, what was my conversion rate yesterday? Which campaign is performing well? Which audience should I be targeting more? And it's not just about asking questions. With Zoe, you can also do things like build a campaign. And what's really cool about that is you don't have to just type. You can literally tell Zoe, I want to build a campaign that launches tomorrow, that targets audience X, and I want to achieve XYZ goal. And Zoe will do that for you. You will obviously edit, optimize with our other AI tools, but the point is Zoe gives you the baseline to make marketing easy. And the best thing is, Zoe's all across the ZMP. No matter where you are, Zoe's there to help, because Zoe is a teammate. It's there to walk you up the ladder. It's there to make your job easier, because that's what we all want, to achieve results and not get stuck in the weeds. So turn on Zoe, make your life easier. Thank you. With that, I'm going to pass it over to David Chet.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. And I have the great pleasure of working with a lot of different brands to be able to apply all the different technology, the data, the assets they're talking about into their different marketing programs. And at Zeta, one of the key challenges that we hear all the time is that customers often talk about how do we create journeys of what we think customers will do next. But really, the key question is, how do we actually predict what customers actually will do next? And with Zeta's Agile Intelligence, we give marketers the ability to actually predict the entire customer journey. We're able to leverage the ZMP to be able to augment your customer's knowledge with billions of additional touch points that Neej talked about before, to be able to purchase individuals across that entire journey, whether they're going to purchase, whether they're going to repurchase, or even potentially churn from your brand. We're able to turn historic knowledge into predictive recommendations that will help guide your customer's unique journey at a one-to-one basis. And the ZMP provides actionable audiences that combine both online and offline, first-party and third-party data all together in one, so that you can have one consolidated view of that individual. And user buyer behavior signals are able to identify exactly the addressable audience, whether it's prospect or existing customers, that are then going to take action. Zeta is also able to identify your customer's preferred channel, where you're actually going to market to the individual, with what message, at what time, really solving that age-old marketing question. And through Zeta's practical personas that Winnie had introduced before, marketers can actually discover the best way to understand and connect with their customers. So we're able to basically improve your understanding of customers, where to find them, how to effectively market to them, all with Agile Intelligence. However, everyone says that they personalize, but the real challenge is how do you actually individualize and be able to do that at scale? The solution is the Data Cloud. The Data Cloud makes it possible to do this all in a seamless customer journey. Whether it's acquire, retain, or growing individuals, only Zeta really provides the signals and recommendations to guide a holistic customer experience. We're able to grow your business by acquiring the best customers, leveraging the different signals that we've talked about today. We're able to apply what we call Zeta scores to understand an individual level, what is that next best action that individuals are going to be able to do, what life stage that they're at within the journey with your brand, and use individualized messages to effectively capture engagement. We're able to know what your customers are doing, and this is really beyond just your four walls. So it's the ability to merge together what they're doing within the brand with what they're doing outside of the brand to really know them as individuals and practically connect their needs to grow engagement and share of wallet. We're able to help make informed choices from visualized reports that can also help identify things such as who's likely to churn, who's likely to go from a 1x to 2x customer, and even things like predicted lifetime value, all through different signals that we're able to capture. So with the Data Cloud, basically what this enables you to do is create a holistic picture of a data-driven approach to who your customers and also your prospects are to attract more individuals, bring them into the brand, and actually grow the value and build that long-term loyalty as well. And now, I'm going to hand it over to Aaron, our SVP of Product.
Thank you, David. Hi, I'm excited to share some of the exciting innovations we have in customer experience management, starting with media. So, an effective media strategy optimizes by targeting the most likely respondents in the most effective channels. But we see a lot of complexity in the silos that still exist in media. Not all the channels are in play between owned and paid media. You're bouncing between multiple tools in order to execute your strategy, and none of those platforms have the complete picture of your customers. Well, at Zeta, through the Zeta Marketing Platform, we're seeking to change that. Zeta makes it easy to plan, execute, and measure individualized media campaigns backed by our identity-based intelligence. Through one platform, you can deep dive on intelligence, the customer and market insights that help you to create effective media plans aimed at your specific outcomes. And with Zeta's AI integrated, our vision is to make it simple to execute media campaigns that perform across all channels: display, CTV, social media, email, audio, all together. And of course, learning what works and avoiding what doesn't is key. With the Zeta Marketing Platform, we're simplifying the feedback loop with an end-to-end view of attribution. That's all of your customers and their paths to conversion, all tied to measurable business results in one platform. So I'm excited to share that today, an all-new, simplified, and intelligence-backed media activation capability is available through the Zeta Marketing Platform. Come reach out to us from 1 to 5 today. Reach out to the Zeta team to learn more about how we can help you to align your marketing and media strategy, all guided by Zeta's intelligence. Next, I want to talk about engaging consumers in the moments that matter. The trouble is, it's really hard to adapt to the speed of your customers as they're constantly evolving in the experience with your brand. To keep up, marketers have to work really smartly to proactively optimize for all of these changes in real time. Now, only Zeta uses that whole picture of your customers, your prospects, and insights from our data cloud to achieve this in an automated fashion. The intelligence to adjust experiences on the fly to meet your outcomes in pace with a changing world. Through the Zeta Experience Builder, you can move beyond automation and create adaptive customer experiences. These experiences will learn and evolve to succeed more consistently. Our baked-in AI identifies underperforming elements of your customer experiences and makes intelligent recommendations to optimize at every step. And as your customers take more actions, intelligent optimization challenges itself to find better and better outcomes. And acting on those recommendations is as simple as clicking accept. So we know that marketing needs to change constantly to tune, to adapt to customer behavior. And with the ZMP, we're taking the guesswork out of that optimization. So you're always one step ahead. Finally, I'd like to talk about creating content. Roman alluded to it earlier. The challenge is it takes a whole lot of time and focused creativity to collaborate with your teams to deliver this world-class content. And we know that building great customer experiences is really a team sport. Well, Zeta is adding another member to your team with Zoe. Our generative AI makes it easy to generate, edit, and collaborate with your creative marketing teams to save time and to boost your efficiency when building campaigns. I'd like to share with you Zeta's AI-assisted visual composer built into the Zeta Marketing Platform to make content development super simple. Here's how it works. You start by indicating your goals for a campaign. Maybe it's driving signups through a website, leading to sales in a particular product line, or getting people to engage in a particular event. Well, whatever it is, Zeta's generative AI will instantly build a proposal campaign, provide creative recommendations, to increase engagement, including optimal audience, suggesting images, text, layout. You can make specific adjustments to it by asking it just as you'd ask a person on your creative team. So your entire creative team, our AI agent Zoe, working together, collaborating in real time to build quickly, effectively, and ultimately get your job done faster and more and better. So our vision for AI-driven creative is going to make it easier for marketers to generate the best content every time. This is just one of several innovations I'd like to share and continue to share throughout the day. For those of you in New York, from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock today upstairs, you'll meet me and several members of the product team doing product demos. So come by, chat with us, see the ZMP in action, and we look forward to seeing you. Thanks.
Nice job, buddy. Thank you, Aaron, and thank you, team, and thank you to everybody that's here today and the 10,000 people that are on the video screen. I'm going to close it up real quickly with a few areas of investment. And part of this is us saying, you know, we're not perfect at everything, and we don't have everything figured out. And that's part of the beauty of working with really great individuals and awesome customers. Yesterday was our big customer advisory board event, and it was a day filled with feedback on things that we're doing well and things that we can improve on as well. So first up, we win deals today because of our great scale. That said, we're expecting 500% more scale next year, which is a staggering number, at least to me. So the team's busy at work doing that. They're also doing it with efficiency in mind for our customers and for us. So we've launched a whole FinOps practice to make sure that as we scale out our technology, we're doing it in a really intelligent way. Second, we know there's an opportunity around better content management tools. There's still a big divide between creative teams and marketing teams. We want to help shrink that divide and make sure that the tools are available to both users. And probably what I'm most excited about out of these is the investment we're making in mobile. Today we've got strong mobile capabilities, but they're nowhere near what the market needs. And a lot of the providers that exist don't exist at enterprise level. Zeta has an opportunity there. When you take some of the work that Roman was talking about with intelligence and sew it into mobile experiences, you get a conversational AI that can boost brand outcomes very quickly. We can't do this alone. We work really closely with our customers every day to get their feedback. We work with industry analysts, some are in the crowd today, and we also have a lot of top-down and bottoms-up visioning. My pleasure in life is I get to work with people throughout the organization that have 10, 20, or more years of experience, and they've got a lot of good ideas on how to build this. So we invite that into the roadmap process. And as I mentioned earlier, the Customer Advisory Board has become a crown jewel of the way that we operate and collaborate with our customers. I'm really excited about that. So with that, I'll close with where maybe Neej started 10 years ago. We know what happened in the world. We know what's happening today. And I'm curious, as we look future into the next several years, what's marketing going to do for your brand? Thanks for joining us. It's been a pleasure. Everybody enjoy the conference today.